Chapter 1. 6 weeks earlier. Thursday, the 11th of September, 9 p.m. An autumn mist shrouded the ruin, heavy and cold as a sodden grey blanket, the rain dripping over the stones, playing its own wet melody. Splash, tinkle, drip, splash. All else was still and cold and quiet, the ruined house wary and watchful, as it had learnt to be over the centuries. Watchful but powerless to protect the man who lay in its wrecked embrace. Thursday, the 11th of September, 9:15 p.m. The White House. Sam was grumpy. He'd been moping around the house all evening, while Martha waited for him to get whatever it was off his chest. This was not like her son, who was naturally buoyant and optimistic, not a sulker or a brooder. She eyed him across the table, playing with his supper instead of wolfing it down as he usually did, his gaze downcast, shoulders heaving in heavy, bothered sighs. It was her way to wait for him to speak rather than prompt him, so the silence stretched. His eyes flickered up towards her, then away again, and she knew he would pick his moment. Eventually he cracked. He gave a few groans as warning, let his fork clatter onto the plate, cleared his throat and looked up. "Mum," he said tentatively. "Sam?" Another deep sigh. "I feel stagnant." She frowned at the word. This was not what she'd been expecting. She looked at her son. 18 years old. Signed up with Stoke City Football Club. Thick, unruly hair, with only a touch of her dreadful red. Teeth inclined to be crooked and uneven, but lately being forced into line with a brace. He grinned at her scrutiny, his brown eyes soft and affectionate. "Stagnant?" she queried. "My mates," he said in his gruff voice, "they're all going off to uni. You know, studying stuff. Training for a profession or something anyway. Going off. Leaving home, but me? It's still training 4 times a week, matches, home, away." He was bobbing his head at the routine as he spoke. "Doing the same thing, year in and year out." He looked at her, his brown eyes appealing. "It isn't enough, Mum. I want to—" He looked around him, his eyes searching for something. "Broaden my horizons," he said finally, with a touch of bravado. "Do something else. Go somewhere else. Be somewhere else. Be someone else." His eyes were impassioned and sincere, and she did not doubt his sincerity. She gritted her teeth. Somehow she'd always expected this, that Sam would one day need more than just football in his life. Most people envy the professional whose job is doing what they can only do for fun. But in reality, it is like many dreams. The dream becomes a reality and then humdrum. Few ask a professional footballer about the big afterwards. Few say, "And then what? What do you do when you're dropped from the team, or injured, or the new manager dislikes you?" Or ask what happens when they get older. Not everyone can be a Beckham. Instead, people focus on the glamorous here and now, on the string of noughts that follow what they consider to be a living wage. Sam did make good money. She banked it, invested it, and he had access to all he needed. But he was still so young, still a teenager. He had had driving lessons and bought himself a modest car, which relieved her of taxi duty, something she found rather sad. She'd always enjoyed those chats driving him to and from games or training. And at the same time, she'd been relieved of a duty she had rarely found irksome. She gained a new worry, that he would have an accident. Motherhood, she thought, as she eyed her son across the kitchen table. It came with a furrowed brow and always something to worry about. So, yes, Sam was currently...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.